Hey guys, Kev here, and I'm going to do a disassembly slash first impressions of the Luft Concepts Avant. So, my plan for the rest of the review process on this knife, because I only have it for, 3 or 4 days. This is day 3. I got it Monday, but today's Wednesday. So my plan is I'll disassemble it, first impressions, and then I'm going to do a blade battle between this knife and the Renegade Provisions Co. Gungnir, and I'll give my kind of final thoughts on both in that as I do the battle, which would be kind of fun too. So that's how I'll kind of wrap up these prototype reviews. I'm going to call it the Battle of the Boutique Prototypes. That's my plan anyway. Real quick before we get into this, I have a package here from Fanatic Edge. I believe this is just my screws for the Lanny. I'm trying not to show my address. I'm doing this kind of weird. Let me check anything else. Does not look like there's anything else in here. Okay, drop that. See what we got. Yep, just the 2 screws. Okay, so let's... Should be T8. Tried to make it easy by making it so the screws are on this side. So I could just pop this off. God damn it. Why are they on that side? See, I do stupid shit, guys. I swear when I reassembled it. So that makes more sense now. When I was showing this in another video, I was saying in the flipper battle video, I was saying that this side was separating a little bit, and that does make sense now because that's the side with the screws missing. So there you go. The dumbass strikes again. Sorry, I don't know why I had to do this in this video, but I did, so it's happening. The key was I got the knife to a perfect action, so I do not want to have to take it apart again. All the way, that is. Now I need a T6. There we go. See that? Driving that backspacer to even. That makes perfect sense now. I was wondering why it was on the other side that was happening. I just misremembered which side I was missing those screws on. So you'll see everything's perfectly flush now. Look at this fat carbon from underneath. That looks dope. Drop this on. Let me just get this going. T8 again. Almost there, guys. Sorry. I figured since I was disassembling something, might as well knock this out as well. Both made by Riot. That being this Lanny and the Avant. Won't need the T6 though. Alright, so centering still dead nuts. Action still, ooh, maybe even better. Okay, perfect. Good to go. Love that knife. Anyway, we are here for this guy. Let us begin. So I'll start with the first impression, because I said I would do that from now on. Makes sense to impression it in its stock form, even though I'm not changing anything. But let's say I put it together and it's weird after, right? So, I really like this knife. Okay, I think it is a very good everyday carry type knife, and I think that's what they're going for. Think Para 3, right? Think PM2, something like that. Something you're not afraid to use, not afraid to beat on a little bit, has a very good cutting edge, very good ergonomics, which all makes sense for an everyday carry. Very easy to carry, deep carry, clip, all that stuff, right? Just like a Spyderco Para 3. Now, of course, you're going to pay $300 for this to do that, but, you know, that's how it is. If you're into these type of knives, that's what you're going to pay. I could very much compare this to the Urban EDC Supply Vox F5.5. Almost exactly the same build. The clip is a little different. You have a spring clip, I think, versus a wire clip. And that's pretty much it. You know, flat grind versus hollow on this. But Riot made, micarta, scales, titanium liners, deep carry clip, titanium backspace. It's literally the same build, right? Now, some things that will add money, because that's what you're wondering, right, is a micarta F5.5 is $200 retail, and this is $299. First off, what you need to know is that this is being produced by Riot, same as the F5, but it is being made for Luft Concepts, not Urban EDC Supply, and they're not going to order 700 of them or however many Urban EDC Supply ordered. I'm sure that they ordered more than the 300 that are probably going to be ordered for this, because Luft Concepts can't afford to order more because they don't know how well it's going to do, first off, and you know, they're going to be doing pre-orders, so they would have to then pre-order that many. So the price is based on the quantity as well as the build, right? Also, some things I would note versus the F5.5. This hollow grind is absolutely fantastic. This is one of the best grinds I've seen on a knife. No lie. Like, literally one of the best. And the Vox F5.5 is a flat grind, right? Also, crown spine, which is an aesthetic, also functional aspect to this knife, and is fantastic. That costs a little more. There's things that cost a little bit more. You maybe have a little more material to deal with because you have a flipper tab here instead of just the hole. I don't know if that goes into it. Reversible clip. Not sure if that goes into it. All T8 hardware. I think the F5 is all T8 actually, so never mind. Yeah, those are really the main differences I know. It's really just the grind and the crown spine that I think maybe add that, and then the MOQ, minimum order quantity. So, the amount they're ordering, not the MOQ, sorry. So you got to keep that in mind when you're going to sit there and bitch and say, well, I got the F5 for $200. Well, you know, you're not buying this from a shop. You're buying this from two guys who designed a knife, and this is the first knife they came out with. And jumping into my first impressions for that, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's really, really good for a first knife design to come out this well. This is the first prototype. I mean, they have a couple prototypes, but like, this is the first knife that has been physically made for them. And you know, for that, it's very impressive. The micarta is very well done. You can see that. All the fit and finish. It's Riot. I don't really need to go into all that. You guys know it's going to come out very well. I do like that they went with a D-shaped pivot, or a non-spinning pivot. Captive pivot, sorry. That is cool. I mentioned the crown spine. Love that. I'll throw in a couple of my nitpicks here. Well, this is more of an issue for me than a nitpick. This flipper tab is pokey. If you see the angle of it, your finger is going right into that point, and you're dragging that point down. I flipped this a lot the first day I had it, and the next day when I was driving to work, I was like flicking it again, and it friggin' hurt to flick again because my the pad here, or whatever, of my fingers on both hands were like hurting from having flipped this knife the night before. So I have talked to Jake Bearded Gear, and I haven't talked to Ryan Rimmer, but Luft Concepts in general, I think, don't hold me to this, I think they're going to do something about the flipper tab, maybe try to angle it a little bit different or round it a little bit. They're trying to be careful because they don't want to add jimping, and they want to make sure you still have that grip to grab it. You know, personally, if it were me, I would flatten it out, like straighten it out a little bit, and then I would add a little jimping, and it would be perfect. But not my knife. This is just my kind of impression / feedback on that. But the action on the flipper is very, very good. The detent dialed perfectly for that action. It's also the style of the flipper that helps with that, because you're pulling down, right? Now the hole. This is not my favorite hole design. I'm not against a bigger sized hole. Like here's the Liang Ma Field Duty. But on this hole, I can get it all the way down at the bottom, release, and it flies out, right? On this guy, if I go to the bottom of the hole, pressure, release, it just doesn't, you know, fly out all the way. The detent isn't necessarily like light. It just seems a little light for the deployment method. Now, that Field Duty is the epitome of detent, and not everybody cares about that, and I'm going to try not to get hung up on that. Basically, the way this hole is designed is for you to get up top, and when you put pressure on it, like I always do that pressure game, pressure, it flies out. So it's very much like a spider coat where you're trying to get vertical, right? You're getting and flicking up instead of, when I'm doing this, I'm flipping out, right? And you can still flick it from down here. You just gotta give it gas, right? You just can't do my stupid pressure thing that some people hate and some people like, you know. Sorry, you want to see my war wound from the burger? I put some liquid Band-Aid in there, so it looks really bad, but trust me, that's not bad. I just can't get Band-Aids to stick to my fucking hand. It's so annoying. So yeah, if it were me, I probably would cut the hole down. Like I would start it here maybe, and maybe change the shape a little bit, because you have room in here. But again, you know, just feedback, not, you know, whatever. So other than those two things, which really, the flipper is an issue right now, but I think they're going to change it. And they have told me they're sticking with the detent as is on the first run. They may adjust it later if they think they need to, but they both really like it the way it is. And if you do this, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's good, actually. It's really good. So, one other thing on the detent that I noticed is if you shake it down, like if you kind of throw it down hard, I'm trying to do this on camera. Usually you're down on your side when you do it. See that? If I throw it down, it kind of pops back out because that detent isn't sucking it in. Now, you know, I don't always do that, but there's a lot of times where I go this and I'm going to close the knife, right? And I kind of chuck it down. And depending on how hard that comes down, it, you know, shouldn't bounce off. Again, I'll use the Field Duty here. I've never tried this or thought of it. See how it sucks it back in? It even bounced off and sucked it back in because it has a stronger detent. So those are just the three kind of nitpicky things I noticed. Other than that, this knife is absolutely a pleasure. It is such a good little EDC knife to carry. I cut an ass ton of cardboard. The the blade might be a little dirty. I went at it last night with this and Gungnir so I could kind of feel them out. They're very good together. It's a very good pair. I was noticing I could get it to ting if I do this. But it cuts through cardboard exceptionally well. One thing it did better than Gungnir, which I'll go over in that battle, is the choil here. You don't have that issue where if you kind of start your cut a little early, you're not going to get caught on a choil or whatever and get stuck. It'll just jump right into the cut, which is really good. The opposite thing is Gungnir has a longer, thicker, heavier blade, so it just butters through material, which this does too, but you're going to put a little more into it because you have a lightweight package you're shoving through. That's what she said. But this hollow grind is exceptional. I mean, it really is. It's hard to explain how good it is. The M390 is fantastic. I may need to strap this up before I send it to Chris. Absolutely love it. Ergos are fantastic in both grips. I really, really love it. I love this ramp right here. Very Spyderco-esque with that ramp. How you can pinch it like this. And then the action on the close, again, it drops to your nail like that. Little shake and down. We'll see what happens after we take it apart. And one last thing I really like is, again, the ramp on close. You can close it like this, and you use that ramp to close it, and then you can just drive it all the way down using that ramp. And you never feel like you're going to slip off and end up, you know, under the blade. Or, like, I hate doing it with thumb studs, right? Because, like, I don't know, I just worry about cutting myself. This just so comfortable. So, this knife is absolutely fantastic. I totally recommend pre-ordering one of these. $2.99, guys. In this day and age, that price is solid. And you're going to get more than just a knife. They're going to make it an experience for you. So, yeah. Anyway, that is the first impressions. We are moving to the disassembly. All right. I'll try to note that. Here's your pivot screw. Very simple, very small, but T8. Really appreciate that. Get this body screw out. Now, we may lose our ting sound after this, but I think there's some people out there that are going to be happy to have that gone. I will be sad. I absolutely love the sound of that thing. Make sure these are the same length. And they are. Okay, so we're good. It should be it. We probably might have a liner under there. We'll see what's going on. Okay, yeah, we got a lot of grime in here, so good thing we're taking it apart. We got 5mm 1/16 bearings, guys. Remember that. If you want to get bearings ahead of time for this knife, you're going to want to get 5mm 1/16. I would definitely throw a set of Gillians in here. Look at that. Whew. Yeah, that action should improve quite a bit. So, first, let's take a look internally. We have this scale here with the pivot. Should be easy to tell because you have that captive side right there. So you want to push it through, and then that side will go into the into the other scale. I'm going to pop it out because I want to clean it out and everything. So it goes through the clip side. Just remember that. Pivot, clip, Kev. I always forget that shit. You have another pin down here, which is interesting. So you have something keeping everything in place. I really like that in terms of structure. Yeah, and then you have this scale with their markings on it. Avant prototype M390. And I will say, Riot is one of the companies that will actually do their prototypes in the steel you're getting it in, I think, because a lot of times what happens is you get it in like D2 because it's just easier, you know, and it's not like you're just checking to see how it functions and everything. But it looks like they did M390, which is fantastic. Clean the blade off here because we got some schmutz on there. Man, there's a lot of black shit, huh? Here is the Avant, or the Luft Concepts logo. That's really cool to see it there instead of, you know, because that's the flipper tab. It's just kind of weird how this flipper tab is designed, right? And that's one of the considerations about changing the angle or whatever. You got to be careful because when this knife is open, it's a choil, right? It's a hidden flipper. Jesus, Kev. So they got to make sure it stays hidden, depending on how they change it. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know how that would work. You have your detent ball right here. This is a carbidized lock face, so it's titanium but carbidized. I have not noticed any type of lock stick in any way, which is good. We have the back spacer right here. Just a titanium backspacer, stop pin. I believe, right? That's stop pin? Yeah, stop pin, and that rides through there. I really like how that design is as well. Almost as much as I like an internal stop pin that's built into the blade. That's my favorite, but get these bearings cleaned up. I would swap these out, but I'm guessing Jake would not want me to because it's a prototype, so I'm gonna probably accept his wishes there. All right, just to be on the safe side, let's grab a little bit of alcohol, wipe down a couple things, and then we can get her back together. Clean the blade off, get all that cardboard off of there. While I have this, I might as well clean the Gungnir blade off. I really got carried away with this guy. Tape residue is a bitch, guys. Alcohol works pretty well on it, as you can tell there. Try not to cut myself. I did enough of that yesterday. Sorry, I'm not trying to shake the camera. Alright, that's good enough. Alright, cool. Back together we go. Let's get our KP schnizzles. KPL, original and heavy. We have these, but I don't need to use those. I'll probably use a little dab of Loctite to be safe. KPL, guys, go to knifepivotlube.com. Use code LEFTY10 for a 10% discount at checkout. Got my smoothie going. All right. Pivot. What did I say? Oh, I never cleaned it. Where's that alcohol? Pivot goes through the clip side, remember? Look at that, I remembered something. Yippee, Kev. Yippee doo-dah, yippee day. Alright. Yep. Was aimed down, if I recall. Like so. You can see the flat there. That's what it's going to go into. So I got to make sure that lines up when we get there. All right, we can start stacking our burger, baby. Here we go. So yeah, usually I feel like I do this from the lock side, but how would I do that? I can't, so. Now I usually put the ass end facing the blade, but I recently was told, or I put the ass end into the cutout, but recently I was told something smart. This is again from the old man, the geezer. Basically, the part that's contacting the most with the bearings is this side. And you want that to ride along the thing that is moving, right? And the blade is the thing moving. So we're going to try putting bearings in the other way now. Or where they always face the blade, basically. So I'm allowed to change my mind, guys. Just getting everything ready. Put a little heavy on here. Alright, cool. So we drop it in. Does the blade have a cutout? No. Blade should just, there we go. I just need to center that. There we go, that's perfect. Then we'll put this guy in like that, see? The opposite what I would usually say, right? But I'm doing it for a reason. we got this pin here to deal with, so we gotta make sure that pin drops in. Probably gotta do that first, maybe. Start working that in so then we can get the pivot on, right? There we go. Pivot's in. Everything's clipping and clicking. Put this guy in down here. Not tightening all the way, I'm just screwing a little bit. That's what she said. My Loctite's acting up, so if you notice a giant thing of it, it's just being an asshole right now. Just need a little bit on those threads on the side there. That's all I needed. Looks like everything's locked in. All right. Just gotta release off of there. Okay. See how much room we got. All right, centering is good. See where we are. We might have to tune this a little bit. Jesus. Shit was leaking out the bottom yesterday. It's a whole nightmare. All right. Ting's out. No play at all. Drops to my nail, shakes down. Still got the ting, baby. Yeah, centering's solid. I'm gonna see if I can loosen up just a little bit. I don't know what's that gonna do to the play. Nothing. Still a bit shaky shut. I'm just trying to see if we can get it drop shut or not. Like more drop shut. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it relatively tight. That's all the way tightened. It's a rock and it still does that. Yeah, I mean, that's perfect, guys. You're not gonna get a knife like this to drop shut. Look how light this blade is with that hollow and everything. Gotta get past that. And I mean, it really shakes down pretty simply. It's super smooth, smoother than before now that we got that heavy in there and got it all cleaned. Oh, yeah. Wow. All right. That is booter. No play at all. I'm loving it. Guys, the Luft Concepts Avant. Very simple disassembly, reassembly. Very solid knife, man. This is going to be a contender for everybody's everyday carry pocket time. I mean, it's just going to be so good considering it is an exceptionally lightweight knife. It's an exceptional cutter. This is the best hollow. I mean, dude, I've never seen a hollow grind like this. It has really good action. It has a flipper tab. Like, it's fidgety, it's fun, it's light, and it cuts really well. And it's comfortable as fuck. I don't know what else you could really ask for in a knife, guys. So I'm going to wrap this up before I get to 30 minutes here. I really love you guys. I really want to thank Jake and Ryan for letting me check this bad boy out and dealing with me, you know, and my nitpicks and whatnot. That's kind of part of the game, and I'm glad they trust me to get some of that feedback. So I love all of you. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you later. Ting!